Good day, folks. Welcome to Week 2 Introduction to Finance Intersession 2021. In addition to the modules, what are the key deliverables this week? 1. Your application project is due January 14th. There's a quiz on January 12th and the current events presentation. Just as a reminder, we normally do this class in 15 weeks, 6 weeks in the summer. So we're doing it in a condensed time period. So planning and organizing really is an important part of being successful in this class. There is a quiz on January 12th. It'll be available the evening of January 11th and through January 12th at 11:59. You need to start it no later than 11:59 on January 12th. I wouldn't advise waiting that long unless you're someone who, sleeps during the day and is up at night. Once you start, you need to finish though. Allow yourself 2 to 3 hours to complete. Okay, better to leave yourself enough time than to not allocate enough time. Part of the whole time management skill building. That's part of this. Depth and specificity are key. Avoid generalities and platitudes. Okay, those are just general statements that generally mean they're nice things to say, but they don't really give us an understanding of what's going on. The quiz is worth 17 points, so 17% of your grade, which is substantial. Consider when you look at the questions and the points that you have an appropriate depth for the points. So if something is 4 points, you should have sufficient depth, in fact, more depth than you might have for a 1-point question. So that's an important thing to think about. The quiz focuses on application and meaning of key topics as opposed to memorization. It's going to cover the welcome module, Module 1, and the following from Module 2. Tools for financial analysis, common size financial statements, using the 10K, and investor presentation. The questions will primarily be short answers, essay, with a couple multiple choice and true and false questions. You can, of course, and this is a little bit different, something I'm trying this semester that you might find useful. You can submit an audio or video response instead of a written response. So if you want to do that, you can more than able to do that. Do check your work before you submit it. Some of you might have heard my discussion on why people do, to look at quizzes after you're done. And the one concept is, gee, I'm dumb. So what that means is when you look at the answer after you ask it, you say, why did I do that? An example of that is it says, please list 3 items. And you list 2. Well, of course you're not going to get full credit. So check for those gee, I'm dumb questions. So that's the quiz. Next thing I want to talk about is our current events assignment. And the purpose of this is to really get a better understanding of the course material that we're talking about by seeing how it's applied today in 2021. We have ESG, environmental, social, and governance issues. We have COVID-19 and how that has dramatically changed. We have a very volatile political environment here. We have the Black Lives Matter movement. There's so many different things that are going on. So we're going to take a look at how are these things impacting the world of finance today. There are 2 components to this. One is the actual article itself and presentation. And you participate in presentations real time. I just want to take a moment at this time and talk about something that I think will help you prepare your current events discussion presentation. Notice I said it's a discussion presentation. It's not for you to go on 10 to 15 minutes all alone. We're going to talk, we're going to discuss. Some of you have done it, so you know what it is. If you haven't, take a look at the samples that are out there. So we're really looking at what is the article saying? What does it mean? It's a summary of the key points. Then, what does it mean? What's the interpretation? And then finally, matter. What are the implications? Why are we even caring about this? How does it relate to what we're studying? So say, mean, matter. So when you're thinking about this for your quiz, for your project, for the presentation, say, mean, matter. So think those words. This is what's going to enable us to go deeper. A lot of times we say we don't explain the meaning or why it matters. So we generally cover this one pretty good. This one we get into. This is the harder one. This is the next level of thinking. So please do that. What's the process for that? Get a partner. Email me names if you have not done so yet. We have a number of people who have already sent their names in. We've given them articles. Once you send me your partner an email, I am going to send you an article and some thought things, questions to think about as you do it. You review the article. I'm going to suggest that you spend time talking about it as opposed to jumping into a presentation because we want to have that broad picture. You might want to do a little more research on it. And then you prepare a 10 to 15 minute presentation discussion. And generally they'll go over because we engage in dialogue. What's the article saying? What are the key issues? How it will impact the firm? How will it change the way things are done? How is it going to impact you? Because everything we're talking about is going to impact you. Use PowerPoint, Prezi, or something similar. It's fine. Then let me know when you're ready. We'll schedule a time for us to review. So that's worth 12 points of your grade. The sooner the better. We need to get them all in by January 25th. And as many of you know, I'm teaching 3 classes. So we're going to get through that. Hopefully we could have some this week. Next thing is you need to participate with a current issues presentation on 4 different presentations. I'm going to post the times and Zoom invites, and you come and you discuss. It's worth 8% of your grade, 2% apiece. Again, we need to get this done by January 25th. So if you can get your presentation ready, it would be great to do some this week. Let's take a moment and talk about application project 1. It's due no later than January 14th at 11:59. I'm going to be doing an open session to discuss the project tomorrow morning, the 11th of January at 8:30 a.m. So I'll talk about the project and I'll answer your questions, and if we do it as a group, you'll be able to learn from others in it, no different than if we were in a classroom. Think and read before you do anything. Take at least an hour to 2 hours. Read the investor presentation in the 10K. Your first read through, you want to understand. You'll say, what is all this saying? What is all this saying? Okay, but start with the investor presentation before you get to the 10K. Some thoughts. Observe as you go. Look at the whole picture. Don't just focus in on one thing. Take notes as you're going. Understand the company. Who are they? What do they do? Who are their customers? What is the company talking about? What is the company talking about? Notice how I didn't get that quite right. The presentation can be PowerPoint, Prezi, or whatever other presentation format works. You should attach your Excel schedule. You're more than welcome to attach an audio or video and attach it to the slides. That can avoid the busy slides. It just lets you to talk, to add more depth, clarity. And what do you mean? You can do that sometimes better. Format and presentation in this, folks, is important. Visualization and communications is critical to everybody's success. So when you look at it, rounding, we don't need to generally see 10, 15 decimal points. Think about it as relative terms. If we have something that is 5,00000000, we don't need all those zeros. Okay, round, make it easy to see. Okay, the detail of 10 decimal points doesn't tell me anything. What's material? Okay, and when you start to put together your common size and your financial statement summary, it's summary. What's important? If it's really small, combine it with something else, You need to make sure the key lines tie together, but we don't need everything. You want to focus in on those things that are important. Label what you do. Okay? I might be able to assume, but if you can't label, I can't understand. Follow logical steps. So if I'm going to see your worksheet, I want to just take me through it step by step by step, as opposed to some here, some there, and let me try to figure it out. Okay? Communication. Think critically, go deeper. A lot of times you have you make a point and it's really a question. So when you're reviewing your work, ask yourself, is this just another question I'm asking? And if it is, go deeper and answer the question. You may need to make assumptions. Okay? Now, accounting is you do this, you do this, you do this. Okay? Finance, we have structure, but sometimes we need to make assumptions. And that's fine if you make an assumption, but you got to tell me you made your assumption. Just explain it. You may need to do more research. May not just hit you over the head. Stop and think. Okay? We're not looking for volume. We're looking for thinking. Stop and think. Review what you've done. Okay? Just go back and check it before you submit it. Again, I tell you, I've been doing this for a little bit, and a lot of times I see you could tell they never looked at it. Ask yourself why. Does it make common sense? And then ask yourself, what does it say? What does it mean? What does it matter? So read, again, read what you're submitting before submitting. Okay? It's worth 11 points. If you have any questions, please let me know, and I look forward to seeing you if you would like to join me tomorrow morning at 8:30. The Zoom link is in the announcement and in the email that you are getting as part of this. And if you have any questions, please let me know. Application Project 1 is a starting point. We're going to continue to use that same company in Application Project 2 and 3. So doing a good job here gives you foundation for the next one. So if you've got questions, let me know. If not, happy Sunday.